It's been a long time coming, but I know.
Welcome back. You know, just before we get back into our conversation, it's so very important what we're talking about, Anku and Brother Ali. I just wanted to thank our sponsors because, you know, a little bird just whispered in my ear that we hadn't really acknowledged them, and I just wanted to acknowledge the law firm of Hannah & Johnson and the excellent Ali Glass, who makes some of the finest mirrored fixtures that you can ever see in this country. We want you to please acknowledge our sponsors with us. Thank you very much. And you know, we do need help. So if anybody out there feels that they can help us, because we need your help to keep this program going, please contact me. We're going to give you contact details at the end of the program, as well as email, as well as phone telephone contacts. But right now, we're going to get back to this discussion, because I think this goes to I think what we were just talking about before we took the break goes really to what we've been talking about for 2 weeks now, Brother Ali.
Yes, sir.
We have a people that are lost, and we have a disempowered people, and it is something that's reflected across the diaspora, and we also see it in Africa itself.
Definitely.
What is it that we can do as a people now? I know we've talked about education, but in terms of empowerment and self-sufficiency, what is it that we can do to begin to empower ourselves so we can be in control of television stations,
Right.
so we can control the content of what our children are watching? What is it that we have to do to turn this around?
Oh, that's a very good question. Obviously, there's not just any one answer that would answer that question, but I think one of the first things we can start doing as a people is we have many Bahamians off in school, educating themselves, which is a good thing, and they're coming back and, you know, finding jobs, which is necessary. You got to pay bills, you got to pay them loans back and whatnot. But when you have gotten to a place where maybe you stabilize after you come back from school, I think it's important that we start to build businesses that have our best interests in mind. You see, it's fine to go and run someone else's business and get all the benefits and make, you know, a good salary and so forth. But at the end of the day, you have nothing to leave for your children after you finish with that job. And maybe you may have a pension or whatever the case is, but what happens is, after we have educated ourselves, we don't leave a business or a legacy for empowerment. We don't own things. It's like we don't even own tourism. We go and get these investors who come in, they own tourism. So whenever they decide to do something, then we lock, right? We have to, you know, sometimes take a step back. It's like watching the game of football, soccer. You want to get that ball in the net, but sometimes you got to kick it back to set up properly to get a new strategy.
That's right.
You see?
That's right.
You can't just keep bullying for the net because you end up in a problem. And I think that's one of the things that we have to do is to look at empowering ourselves by going back to ground level after we get that degree. Starting a business is not easy, but and making it a family thing, so we empower ourselves. You see? Secondly, we have to stop relying on a system that we complain about so much to solve the problems that we could solve for ourselves.
Okay.
You can't expect, for example, my brothers in the Rastafarian community, I respect them highly because they have taken a lot of the licks for the cultural community, that when people putting on a suit and tie and going to work and then coming home and put their little Selassie pin on, fine. The brothers and sisters out there who constantly, every day out there, they dress up in the African attire and they get in their licks, I respect them highly. What I would like to see also, though, is for those communities to start schools So they don't have to be bickering with a private or government or any school to let their child into the school. They've been around since the 70s. A school should have been in place.
That's right. No, I agree with you.
You understand what I'm saying?
Uncle. Yeah,
and whatever organization we decide to start, I mean, we have all these different pockets of people coming together now and doing great things, whether it's Tomwa, Journey Home Group, the Pan-African Congress. We now have to come together. If there's a Christian council, we should have a cultural council.
I agree with you on that.
We should all have at least, we don't have to agree on everything. It ain't necessary for us to agree on everything. What is necessary for us to do is to decide that we want something better for our children.
That's right.
It ain't about us.
No, it's not.
It's about the children.
It's about
That's
the
future.
It's the future.
You know,
that's right. That's right.
As a young man, as you just referred to, you go to school, you're coming back with your degree. As your father and grandfather, and for those who were before us, they have paid a price.
Correct.
What I see that I criticize a lot, it's like a man who have 7 children.
Right.
The first 2 he put through school to get the highest education. The next 2 he tried, but he was relying on the first 2 children
to help him,
to help the rest, because he's not educated to the degree of his children. But what we're beginning to see now is that the 2 who got the education, in essence, or 3, has become the biggest crooks to the younger ones that are there. You understand me? In other words, robbing them. And for those who, I'm just looking at it from a family point of view, but for all of who have gone and got their degrees, they have not returned as the nationalists that they ought to be able to help those less fortunate.
You know why? Because they living in a fairy tale.
Good.
And they also went to the main place where you learn to be a crook.
Yeah, but you see,
if you want to be a crook, you go to the United States or Britain, because they have a history of being crooks.
Yeah.